right, next up is reference angles. And the reason we want to do reference angles, if I could speak today, is later we're going to talk about different angles, and we're always going to talk about them in respect to the x-axis. So thinking about a highlighter here, here's the x-axis. We always want to know when we're talking about reference angles, the acute angles made up of the x-axis and the line. So notice that's different for each quadrant. So this quadrant here, we'll do a different method than this quadrant down here, so forth and so on. The 4 quadrants. So that's what we're going to talk about. So if it's in quadrant 1, that is the reference angle. There is no other reference angle. So everything in quadrant 1 is already a acute angle. So nothing to do if it's a reference angle in quadrant 1. Okay? But your other quadrants have different rules. So if you think about 150 degrees, it's somewhere right there. You want to talk about the acute angle from the x-axis. You're talking about this angle right here. So this is 150 degrees. What is this? Now, some logic reasoning is going to tell you, all right, a straight line's 180 degrees, so that means that the reference angle must be 30 degrees, because 30 plus 150 is 180. If you are a rules person, so just tell me the rules. If it is in quadrant 2, you're going to do 180 minus the angle. Okay. All right, let's look at a different one. What about 315 degrees? So we start at our standard position here. We got 315 degrees, which puts us somewhere right here. Again, for a reference angle, we need the acute angle. So hopefully you remember acute is less than 90, so we need the acute angle with the x-axis and that angle. Again, we can use some logic reasoning. 315 degrees. I know that all the way around would be 360 degrees. So that must mean that this angle is 45 degrees. Okay. If you are a rules person, if it falls in quadrant 4, remember 1, 2, 3, 4. They go in counterclockwise position. Okay. The rule is 360 minus the angle. All right. What about negative 120 degrees? Well, negative 120 puts us in the 3rd quadrant, because we want to go 90 plus 30 degrees in a clockwise position. But remember, we want the acute angle from the x-axis and that angle. So that's going to be right here. Again, we can think about what would that angle have to be. If this is 120, this has to be 60. Okay, so this one, the rule is 180 degrees plus the angle. This will work with a negative as well. No, it won't. This is if the angle is positive. So the angle has to be positive. No, I lied. It will work with a negative angle as well, because 180 plus negative 120 would be the same as subtracting. So that would be 60. And so that's the rule for quadrant 3. And so this one is also in quadrant 4. You got 140 degrees. This small angle must be 40 degrees. All right, so you have some practice to try to make sure that you understand what a reference angle is and what it's trying to ask. So go ahead and complete.